Let's move to another useful and popular method of teaching English that is known as direct method. We could say that impetus to introduce direct method was based on the need to teach various foreign languages for communicative reasons in order to facilitate trade and commerce, which was getting a rapid progress in the Europe. And various proponents and believers of natural method believed that foreign language could be taught without any help from learner's mother tongue or without any translation. That implies that meaning could be conveyed directly through a demonstration or action. The German scholar Frank provided the philosophical basis during that era, and he proposed that there is a direct association between forms and meaning even within the target language, and that should be utilized while teaching a target language. And this provided a justification for a monolingual approach of teaching a foreign language. This method also came as a reaction to grammar translation method, which was believed to be ineffective in the situations where the proficiency in the communicative ability of learners was needed. And the Europe, by the time direct method emerged, was in desperate need for developing this communicative proficiency among its citizens, because as I said earlier, there was a rapid increase within the internal and external growth of business and commerce in the Europe. You could see, therefore, the reformists strongly advocated that language must be taught within real-life context, and the use of first language while teaching a second language must be avoided. This direct method was first introduced in France and Germany, and then it was used later on by other countries of the Europe, and then USA and other parts of the world. Few of the popular objectives related to this method include the use of everyday language in speaking or oral situations instead of focusing on grammatical rules. Grammar, therefore, is taught inductively in direct method, and people derive different grammatical rules based on their use of language. And then oral skills are aimed to be developed through graded programs or contents. Like some of other methods, materials are also graded, are meant to be graded in this method from simpler to difficult ones. Interaction between teachers and students is a prominent feature of direct method, and students are expected to participate in the classroom more actively, and teachers are thought to encourage them more positively in order to make them an active part of the classroom. Therefore, there is huge focus on pronunciation as well, and a good pronunciation is expected on the part of teacher first, and then also on the part of students. Both speaking and listening skills are emphasized, and other skills, which is reading and writing, are sometimes compromised. Meaning are taught through demonstration, pictures and objects, and through exemplification within the classroom by the teacher. Printed word must be avoided in the classroom as long as learner is as long as it is possible. Printed word or the written word must be kept away from the classroom unless it is needed for some activity. Popular classroom techniques in this method include a short text which is introduced by the teacher, and then a difficult word within that text are explained in the target language by the teacher, which is quite against the spirit of grammar translation method, where the difficult words are explained or translated into the mother tongue of the learners. Here they are explained in the target language, and it is done through paraphrase and demonstrations. Students must derive grammatical rules, as I said earlier, inductively from that passage. And the exercises used in this method, few of the popular ones include transposition, substitution, dictation, and free composition. This method also invited some criticism. Like all other methods, this is not perfect in all ways. We could see that it is also difficult to implement in many second language contexts, especially in second language English context, where English is taught as a foreign or second language, because this method has a heavy demand on language teachers. Teachers should be proficient, should have good pronunciation or almost a native-like pronunciation in English language, which is very rare in second language context. So the absolute implementation of this method is or remains a dream in such context. Then it is also very difficult to explain a word or its meaning in the target language. In grammar translation method, we could see that an equivalent in mother tongue serves the purpose, and it becomes very easy to explain the meaning to a young learner. But explaining the meaning in the target language to a learner who is not familiar with that would be very difficult in many learning contexts. Then it is also based on a fallacy that second language could be learned on the pattern as first language is learned. We could see while learning a first language, we have enormous exposure to the language through social interactions at home and in the society, in the school. Whereas while learning a second language, we could see we do not have that luxury of exposure to the language in natural or social environments. Our learning is reduced to classrooms in the schools where there are very few opportunities of interaction. Therefore, this method, as I said earlier, is not complete in its theory or application, and there could possibly be certain contexts where it may not be implemented in its complete spirit.